Welcome to episode 13 of the Vada Studio Confessions. Now, mastering is a dark art. Now, personally, when I have any of my work come back from mastering, most of the time I can either not tell the difference between that and the mix, or I just think, what have you done to my work? I'm never really happy. Until I met this guest. Welcome to the podcast, Katie Tavini. And you've just recently, we've met each other through mastering the New Enemy album.
We have.
All 20 songs of it.
Sounds great.
Thank you very much. I was unbelievably happy with the mastering. I have to say, the first time I've ever jumped up and down and gone, yes! Whereas most of the time I was like, oh, shit.
Oh.
So, no, thank you so much for doing such a great job on that.
You're welcome. I'm glad you like it.
Yeah, and you've got, I mean, you're being talked about a lot. You know, you're a name on everybody's kind of lips at the moment. You're gaining a rightful reputation, I think. But you started as a musician.
Yeah.
So, which is I think that's the key to it. Like, one of the things that I really liked about the mastering is that I've always found that a lot of mastering people have a kind of a one-size-fit-all kind of mentality, and it comes back with either a completely inaccurate interpretation or a sterility that I don't really like. Whereas over those 20 tracks of the Enemy songs, every song I'd considered a lot, and I wanted to give it its own life, each song have its own life. And the mastering came back and you'd probably added 30% of that extra life that I had, as well as, like, I have to say, your mid-range is incredible. Like, that's one thing I loved. And you go wide,
yeah.
like really, like nice width. But you started as a musician then you went into engineering and a bit of production.
Yeah.
And then ended up in mastering.
Yeah, it's been a journey.
That is quite an unusual route. Do you still play?
So, my degree is like the majority of it's in classical music. And I played violin since I was really, really small because I heard these people in an assembly in primary school playing the violin. I was like, oh my God, that's the most disgusting sound I've ever heard. I want to do that. So I've played the violin since I was really young, and I didn't really know what to do at uni. But that kind of, I don't know, seemed like I like music, you know, that kind of. But I always knew I wanted to do technical stuff because honestly, the thought of standing in front of people and playing something horrifies me. So I always knew I wanted to do something technical, but I didn't really know like how to get into that. So I just thought like, you know, let's just do a degree, see what happens. So I don't play anymore, but I have just gotten one of my violins fixed up and I'm learning again.
That's awesome.
So,
that's awesome.
You know.
No, because it's funny, isn't it? I mean, we discussed this earlier over lunch, that we both prefer people around us to work with if they have an understanding of music. And there is a lot of people in the music industry that they're not particularly well-versed in musicianship. You know, they can't sort of play a musical instrument. I mean, that's something that's always bothered me when, you know, if sometimes you're making a record and you'll have a load of opinion thrown at you from somebody administrative that couldn't even tell you the notes in the scale of G, you know?
I think if we're going to bitch about things,
yes,
what pisses me off is seeing quotes from a man who, I don't know, has something to do with streaming, and I'm not going to, we'll just keep it vague. Who's never learnt an instrument, doesn't know how hard it is, but is basically telling artists to like release a track every month. That is so hard. Like that's so much music to like write and rehearse and learn and record and get through. And just like some guy who owns a streaming service is saying like, you know, spit them out every month. And like, he has no idea. That really annoys me.
Yeah.
There's so much craftsmanship that goes into every aspect of making a record. Mm-hmm. Even if it's a single, there's so much that goes into it. Like, how's some dickhead telling artist? Like, he's already rich. Like, come on. It just seems really unfair.
There's a lot of it. I think there's a lot of unqualified opinion, and those unqualified opinions end up enforcing those opinions on the creatives. And I think that's something that has damaged the music industry to a certain degree. You know, there is that kind of constant necessity to churn it out, to churn it out, to churn it out, and at the same time to have a really high standard. And if you don't have the high standard, it's like, well, why are you not writing hit after hit after hit? And any songwriter has a kind of a limit to how well they can write. I mean, I think I can't remember who it was that said they have a one. It was a prolific songwriter, and I can't remember which one it was. But they were saying they have about a 1 in 10, 1 in 12 kind of hit rate from demo to actually taking something even further. So that's like writing 10 songs for one song to be used, and that's kind of how it is. I think that's pretty normal. But then you do get these people in an office scenario and an administrative scenario that are like, oh, we just need more songs. We need more songs. I remember I was working with a band it was Los Angeles in 2002, and the A&R said they submitted a load of demos. They're writing for an album, and the A&R had listened to a load of the demos, and the response was, yeah, guys, I think you need to be writing about 5 songs a day.
That's wild.
I mean, they had this was also a guy that had a drum kit in his office, an A&R guy that had a drum kit in his office. You don't need to say any more than that. But it is a thing, isn't it? It is a thing, and I think being a musician and as well and working in the music industry, you'd sort of think it's obvious that they sort of go hand in hand and have some kind of understanding of music, but they don't. And so yeah, I think that is a bit of a problem. But you've seen all aspects, like various aspects. So what was your studio life? What did you do there?
So just before I'd finished my degree, on my degree, it was at Salford. It was great. There was a really small like recording studies module, and it was basically, you weren't really taught anything technical about the studio, but you were like shoved in there and said, make something. And it was more about using the studio as a creative tool. Mm-hmm. I loved that so much, like, getting a bunch of musicians together and just seeing what happened. And basically that was my happy space. And I was also really aware that I would not have access to anywhere like that once I graduated. So I was basically there all the time. And one of my tutors was like, oh, there's this guy I know, he's looking for an engineer in his studio. Like, do you want me to put you forward for it? And I was like, yeah, okay, great. And I thought it'd be just, making some cups of tea and stuff. But I went straight into like engineering for John Ellis, the studio owner. He's an amazing keys player. Actually, he's amazing every single instrument under the sun thing. I remember one session, he just like got out a bass clarinet and started like doubling the bass, like Beatles style with it. And I was just like, I didn't even know that instrument existed, let alone you could play it. He's so good. But he used to play with cinematic orchestra, so he's done like loads of gorgeous music. And then a producer called Bill Leader, who was producing folk music since like the 50s. So he's seen every technology, and he was 80 when I started working with him. And like working with the two of them was the nicest environment that I could have possibly asked for. But also like, I think I was so spoiled with like the education that gave me. Like being on sessions with someone who's like been engineering and producing his entire life is just like, we were miking up mirrors. Yeah. Like we were doing mad stuff. And it was kind of, it was almost an experiment, but Bill had been there before, so he knew exactly what was going to happen. Yeah, right. So it was really exciting and really cool. So that was such a nice, like, being in the studio. And it's mainly folk and jazz that we were doing. And it's just really fascinating, really, really fascinating. And, a lot of it was like one take, everyone in the room with some overdubs. It was like very live.
So what would you, how important do you feel the education side is over experience in terms of learning this game. Because I didn't go to a college or any form of formal education. I kind of self-taught. I assisted a load of people, and like you, I was inspired by people that had been there and done it, and saw it on the front line. And that's kind of how I gained my skill set, if you will. And so I don't have anything to compare it to. I mean, I know sometimes that I've worked with students and sometimes they rely on solid theory that they've been taught. And as you say, it's like anything goes in recording, I think. Stick a mic on anything. And if it works, it works, So how do you feel? Obviously you've done both. You've done uni and you've done the kind of learning from a master.
Yeah.
What would you say is the most reverential?
I think going to uni kind of gave me like the curiosity to then pursue it. And also the kind of like, I did not ever know that a recording studio would be accessible to me. Like I'd never seen one before. I didn't know that you could just like hire them, but also like I would have never had the money just to hire a studio. So it kind of, I think that sort of gave me a kick up the arse a bit to actually like pursue this, because I didn't know that like it was an option.
Yeah.
And I think uni definitely gives you the freedom to make mistakes, which I think is really important. Yeah. Like if I'd have fucked up that Enemy album, we would not be sitting here.
No, we wouldn't. I would have sent Hitman round
exactly.
to the house.
But I think, it's tricky. Like the people who are teaching at uni are really well-intentioned, but they are academics and they are like theory-based. They're not necessarily, like some of them like teach part-time and make records the rest. And that's really cool that the students get to have someone like that in their lives, but they're not kind of making records every day and kind of in it, like fully immersed in it. And so it was quite a big, it was a big jump when I sort of started working in studios and seeing like, oh, all these people are fully, this is their entire life. And that was really cool, like really inspiring, really cool. So I don't know, I think both different, but for mastering, I'm completely self-taught. So like, don't know. It's
an interesting debate, isn't it?
Yeah, like I think they're both really valid.
Yeah.
But I think sometimes I'm really glad that I'm self-taught with mastering, because like I don't care what LUFS are. I can't force myself to care. Like the only thing I care about is what it feels like when I hear the music. And I think maybe if I'd have been more formally educated in mastering, would I care less about how the music sounds and more about LUFS? I don't know.
No, I agree, because
not sure.
You're kind of given a rule book, I think, within education, because if you look at it, it's like the world that we work in, it's limitless. Like you can't teach all of that in a course. You just can't. And I think it has to be formalized to a certain degree. So there's no choice in yet sort of forming a rule book for that. And it's funny, like sometimes we've had students here from universities and we sort of do sort of master classes with them. And, one of my favorite things on the SSL console is to push it when you get the red on the channels and you get this lovely analog crunch.
But you are taught that red is bad.
You are taught that red is bad, right? And some of these students are like, oh, that's peaking. And I'm like, yeah, and it sounds fucking great, right? But they're not even using their ears. They're just seeing the red light sort of flicker on and off, and they think it's bad. So that's always been something that I've always found quite frustrating with sort of when students come to me with their knowledge. You have to unpick a little bit and show them that the boundaries are far and parameters are far wider than they probably are taught. But at the same time, I mean, also when I started, there wasn't half the education available in this field at all. I mean, you could go to SAE if you had the money, and that was really expensive to go there back then. And that was kind of the only education that was available to you, in that genre. But I think some of my greatest moments have been being inspired by people who actually do it. You know, like you say, when you get guest lecturers in and show you all that. But who would you say your key inspirational people in your career have been?
Definitely John and Bill, because I was like there watching them make stuff happen. And like before that, I'd never really thought about think about how the musicians feel, because that's going to change how they perform. I'd never thought about oh, you're in the real world now, there are deadlines.
Yeah, right.
You know, stuff like that. So that was so cool. And then I think for mastering, definitely Mandy Parnell. She's mastered so many of my favorite records. Very cool. And Heba Kadri as well. She's doing amazing stuff. And I think the people that also really inspire me are the people that I work with, often. Because, you know, when you're hanging out, you just have these chats about oh, what do you think of this record? And you're talking through a record that neither of you worked on, but they both like. And then you talk about how, how something could kind of impact something that you are working on. And that's really interesting. I think it's really important to do people stuff in real life.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff's done over the internet now, but I just don't I don't find that super inspiring. I used to work at the British Library as an engineer there in their sound department, and all the engineers would all go for lunch together, and the best learning and the most inspirational things were just as we were chatting, in the pub after work and stuff. So I think just kind of real life stuff with people that you work with often is super good.
Yeah, I've been inspired by people in the room when I've been in the room with them so many times. And as well, when you watch certain people work, and when I've seen friends work, I mean, obviously I'm here all the time, and then I have other producer friends that sometimes work here, and I'll come in with a cup of tea and say, oh, can I just sit in for an hour? And then I'll just watch them do certain little things and go, oh my God, that's so cool.
Yeah.
You know, and being inspired by that. But talking about the record thing, so would you say your 5 favourite records are?
It's so hard to pick.
It is,
5.
But five that you love. Five that you love.
7 by James. That's what made me interested in sound, because there's this thing with the brass where it's panned, and when my dad used to play that record all the time when I was a kid. It's oh my God, different sounds come out of different speakers.
Yeah.
I must have been 8 or something, and honestly, my mind was blown. Stayed 3 by Monsieur Oiseau. It's controversially, it's only an EP. It's not one of his albums, but it's really special to me. Fever self-titled. It's just a vibe. I think Slipknot by Slipknot.
Yeah.
Controversially.
For me, it's
because I know.
Iowa.
Yeah, I know.
Iowa is the masterpiece for me. But at the same time, you don't want to say that one because it's a bit cheesy. That's the one that that's where they really broke, isn't it?
I don't think it's cheesy. I just, I don't know. I just remember hearing the self-titled and being what is this?
Yeah.
That was such a key moment of my childhood. I don't know how many I don't know how many.
You've done 4.
4. Oh, one more. It's got to be a good one.
Yeah. How about the New Enemy album?
That, obviously.
Yeah.
Ray of Light by Madonna.
Oh, yeah.
Ah!
Yeah.
And I don't think that record is talked about enough.
Who produced
it's so
that?
good.
Was it William Orbit?
It was, yes. Yeah. It's so good. It's wall-to-wall bangers.
Yeah.
Again, such a key record of, I think I was doing my GCSEs or something when that came out. And I was every single song, there's not one that I want to skip.
Yeah.
Amazing.
When did that come out? That's really old, isn't it? That's going to really date me now. How old is that?
I think it's 2002, 2001.
Yeah, it's pushing 25-year-old record. Yeah, that's pretty
That's
scary.
aging me as well.
That's pretty scary. It feels like yesterday. But she's been pretty consistent. She's always known how to surround herself by the right people at the right time. I think she's quite clever at that.
Yeah.
And that's a pretty good eclectic choice of records. And so, what, in your opinion, makes a good record?
Oh, can I actually say Latin by Holy Fuck as well? I
don't know that.
Oh, stunning. Mastered by Mandy Parnell.
Right.
It's just, again, blew my mind the first time I heard it. But then when I went back and looked at it, every single song's been like mixed by a different person, recorded in a different location. Really cool.
Was it produced by lots of different people?
I think so, yeah. But it's, I don't know actually, maybe. But that's when I was like starting to look at like different mastering engineers' work, and I was like, oh my God, this sounds like one whole thing.
Yeah.
But it's like had so many different people work on it. That's really cool.
Yeah, I mean, we were saying earlier, like, I like a record to sound like it's got its own corners, I call it. So each song has its own life, and yet it all ties into one record. And I think that's quite a difficult thing to achieve. And it's something that I always try to achieve now. But then again, as I was saying to you earlier, that thing of Hot Fuss by the Killers, that was mixed by different people, recorded in different studios, and it feels like one contiguous album. And yet, if you really listen to it, you can hear the difference between track to track. But that's kind of, I think that's my definition of a good record. Something that feels like it has lots of different flavors in it, but it's still the same artist and still the same world. I mean, how would you define, what do you look for that makes you go, that's a great record?
I actually don't know. I do not know. I think, so I was watching this thing about like funk players, and they were like, yeah, we never like loop anything. We always play every single thing. We play them, and that's what makes it feel like really fresh. And I'm like, I think it's like that kind of human, like I like a lot of electronic music, but I like it when they kind of like feel not too rigid.
Yeah.
Like I like, it's the emotion. It's like the feeling you get when you listen to something. Like I want to like laugh or cry or, something. I don't just want to feel flat. But if that's really hard, that's so hard to do.
Yeah.
Because I can't even describe it. So how are you supposed to do that?
Yeah, right. But and especially now, like we live in a generation where like cut and paste, and sometimes I'll be working with singers and they'll sing a chorus and they'll go, oh, you can fly that in. You can fly that into the second chorus. And often I'll go, no, let's sing the second chorus. Yeah, but it's the same. Yeah, but it won't be if you sing it again, But again, it's like time constraints and budgets, isn't it, as well? Like sometimes you have to do that because there's no time to get everything you want to do on a record. But I think, those records, I think the bottom line and what we're both talking about is a record that just connects. And I think it's really easy to have a sterile record that doesn't connect, especially with the technology that we have to hand these days, that you can make it really sterile. Some people like that, but I guess I'm old, so I liked it. So I was brought up on good old-fashioned records where cut and paste didn't exist.
Yeah. I mean, all the records my dad played me when I was a kid, like, I grew up on old records.
I was educated by my father musically, and I'm very grateful for that. It's cool,
me
isn't
too.
it? Yeah. It's interesting, actually, because like a lot of the younger bands that I've been working with recently, some of their inspirations and the records that they use as reference, I often think to myself, you've blatantly been tutored by your parents, I mean, some of them now as well, they're like, their parents are like my age as well, which is kind of really depressing, So, like, no.
You are a parent.
I know I am a parent, but I'm still 25 in my mind. But, you get these bands that are like, they talk of these records that I loved when I was 18, and they say, yeah, my dad pulled out a load of old vinyl of his that he used to love when he was a kid, and I really love that, and I really love that, and I really love that. And I think to myself, I bought that record the day it came out, which is a little bit depressing. But I mean, I'm presuming your father's probably not far away from my age. Was he buying records a lot in the 90s?
Earlier.
Oh, earlier.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. So he's a bit older than me. That makes me feel a little bit better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a lot of Joy Division going on in my house.
Is that a geographical thing, do you think? Because you're a Manny girl?
Maybe, but also I think my dad just likes good music.
Yeah. I love Joy Division, don't like New Order. Is that controversial?
No, I don't think so. I think New Order have some absolute bangers.
Yeah.
But definitely Joy Division, if we're going to pick a side.
I would go for the Joy Division thing. I mean,
I've got a Joy Division jumper, which my friend Jenny got for me, and it's cats. Like cat's ears.
oh wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty
I should have
cool.
worn that today.
You should have done. Do you like cats by any chance?
Tell you what, I really like cats.
Yeah. Do you have a studio cat?
I do have a studio cat.
Tell us about the studio cat.
So she's called Jelly. She's 14. She masters everything that I put my name to.
So it's not Katie Tavini.
It's not.
It's
Jelly
Tavini.
It is.
Is she Jelly Tavini when you take her to the vet?
Yeah.
I love that. I love that when they have your surname.
I know.
So she masters every record.
She masters every record. Yeah. Nothing that she doesn't like.
Really?
She's got excellent taste.
Eclectic cat.
Yeah.
I've seen her appear on your Instagram quite a lot. Obviously you've met our studio
I
cat.
have. He's delightful.
The one and only Marmaduke. The orange cat
So
extreme.
nice and chunky.
He's a chonky
Yeah.
fella.
Love a sturdy cat.
Sturdy cat. Jelly's quite sturdy.
Oh, she's very sturdy, yeah. And now, because it's winter, she's extra fluffed out as well, which is just delightful.
Yes. Well, Marms has been on a diet recently.
Oh,
He's not been happy.
oh.
He got a bit too chunky. He was even chunky in the summer. He kind of looked, when he was sat down from behind, he was like really wide. And Georgia and I were noticing going, yeah, he's probably a bit too wide.
Oh, bless.
So, yeah. So it's better for him to be
Yeah.
more of a slimlined cat. But yeah, I love seeing Jelly draped across all your gear in all the Instagram photographs.
Yeah, I have to hoover the gear about 3 times a week because it just
you?
gets so hairy.
I suppose it's all the static, just pulls all the... Yeah. And so with your gear,
Yes.
what is the main part of your studio? And how did you choose your gear? Because that's an interesting thing, right? Because I think as a mastering engineer, you don't necessarily get to go to loads of mastering studios, do you? You tend to find a home and then you stay there. Whereas when you're an engineer, you're probably more likely to work at lots of studios, and then you'll go to a certain studio, you'll try a piece of gear and go, oh my God, that's for me. When I've got the money, I'm going to buy that. That's certainly how I kind of chose my gear. And then there's obviously industry standards. But yeah, what's your setup and how did you choose it?
I don't really know. Like, I think everything just kind of sort of fell on my lap via Sam Pemberton.
Oh, well, that's that's a mutual friend there that causes us financial difficulty. Sam's brilliant. Sam is brilliant.
He's been so good with me though. Like he's been really patient and helped me like build up my gear, which I really appreciate, because I think with mastering, I mean, with studio stuff, everything's expensive, but with mastering, like, I don't know, it feels at first, before you've got any gear, it just feels like unreachable.
Yeah, right.
So I think it's been about like 5 years, like building everything up. And it's kind of just been a bit of trial and error, really. One thing in my studio, which was like an intentional buy and I knew I liked it, is I've got an AMEC Medici. But I knew I liked that because at John Ellis's studio, I had used an AMEC channel strip with some of the same buttons on. And I was like, that's nice.
Yeah.
But with everything else, it's just like, you know, oh, I've heard a massive passive is really good. Yeah, turns out they are.
Yeah.
All right, fair play. And then the most recent one I got is a Neve thing.
Yeah, I know.
It's a Neve thing,
yeah.
but it's really vibey and cool. And I kind of wanted something that was like vibes, because the AMEC thing is vibe. It's an EQ, but it's not for everything. But it's pure vibes in a box.
Yeah.
Like, I don't really ever use it as an EQ. I just use it as a party box.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Whereas like the Neve one is kind of like a restrained version of that. It's like a controllable vibes. Whereas the AMEC is kind of a bit wild sometimes. Like sometimes I'll do 2 passes, like maybe the main mix and the instrumental, they sound totally different through the same box with the same settings.
Right.
That's cool, but it's not always cool.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas the Nevy's kind of is that, but like more reined in and
Yeah.
more controllable and stuff.
Yeah.
So I really like that. But it's been it's been a lot of like trial and error and saying to Sam, oh, you know, I've got this. Can we do swapsies and stuff? And
Well, that's what's great about Sam. Obviously, Make Noise Pro audio. I mean, the biggest problem for us is that he's 4 miles up the road.
oh no.
And so, yeah, which is really great because there's things I've been after, and I love the thing about Sam is that he's not just a salesman. He knows what's going on with all the equipment, and I've often said, you know, I'm after this, and he'll go, well, this is probably what you want to try, or if there's something I want to get, he'll go and source it from somewhere. Do you borrow stuff off him and then send it back if it's not for you?
No, I've been pretty like committed. If I've seen something that I've thought is interesting, but like, yeah, I don't really like reading reviews of stuff because it's always like you can tell that people have been paid to say good things about the thing, and it's like, is it actual? So I prefer speaking to people who've actually used them. And I feel like I can ask Sam questions. Like I feel like now Sam probably knows what I really like in terms of gear, so I can ask him like, you know, because he was not surprised when I decided to sell an EQ that he had sold me.
Yeah.
Which I bought before I knew him. I just, bought it from the Make Noise website. And then, he wasn't surprised that I was like selling that back.
Yeah.
So, but I think what he's done is really cool because it's made gear accessible. Which,
I think he's become a really important part of our industry.
I do.
Massively. Have you met Lawrence as well, who's been with him for about a year now?
No.
I've
only met Sam like twice.
Oh, really?
Maybe like 3 times. Yeah.
Yeah, Sam comes down here quite regularly with various bits of...
Does he have a big trench coat with microphones all on the inside?
Yeah. He's Georgia, engineer here, she's going through that phase of trying to find the right speakers for her mix room. And I think when she's going to start having a few borrows from Sam and get to the point where she knows what she wants according to her room. But he's great like that, you know.
Yeah.
And so what speakers do you use? And do you ever use headphones? Do you ever master on headphones?
So I've got the headphones, the absolutely massive ones. And so I've just upgraded my speakers to the PMC somethings. And I think they're like 6.2s, 2 6s.
Yeah.
There's some numbers.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
I used to have PMC 226s.
Right.
So similar numbers, but different. Anyway, these new speakers are much bigger.
They're the ones that Jelly knocked over.
The old ones are the ones that she did through. It's the first week she moved in. It was about 5 a.m. and I just heard this massive bang. I was fast asleep. And because I was just leaving the studio door open. I didn't think she'd go in there. She did. And she managed to, do that. But it still worked. It was fine. But I have, for my new speakers, had to invest in cat-proof stands, which Sam very kindly helped me.
Are they advertised as cat-proof stands?
They should be. They should be.
Yeah.
If they're not, they're missing a trick.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've got the PMC 6.2 or 2.6s now, and I've actually not used headphones since I've upgraded them. Like, I'm finding the clarity in them really cool. But I think headphones, like, sometimes in a master, I will not go through every single song and de-click everything and like de-mouth click everything because I like human elements, but sometimes there's a little click that's like distracting, so I'll get rid. But sometimes you can feel it, but you can't hear it. Do you know what I mean? You can like feel it in your bones, but you're like, oh, where is that? And so headphones are like, really good for that. But also, because like obviously work sort of fluctuates and sometimes are busier than others. I found out when stuff's really, really busy, I've kind of lent on headphones a little bit more just for like a change in perspective. So if I need to listen to something that I've done earlier in the day, at the end of the day, as like a sanity check before I send it off. I'll be like, I'll put my headphones on and just like, there's something about putting headphones on that makes you like focus a bit more.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like you're almost like zoomed in a little bit. So yeah.
No, I know what you mean. I mean,
don't love wearing headphones though. I find them like,
yeah,
don't really like that, but I do find them useful.
I do. I mean, I don't mix. I hate mixing. Does my head in, fries my head.
That's why I master.
Yeah, it's just, oh my God. I just end up hating myself, hating all my work. But when I'm doing mixed references, I'll always have a check on earpods purely because I know that a huge proportion of music listeners, that's how they consume it as well. So I use it for that reason alone, only just to double check. It's like, oh yeah, it's working in there as well. But I've never really been a fan of headphones. I don't think I like having things on my head.
No,
really. I think it's
especially not with glasses.
Yeah,
because you feel like your entire head's in a box.
Yeah, and then also when you put the headphones and the glasses go up a little bit like that, and you're like, oh no, and you're trying to get them comfortable. Yeah, 100%.
It's not the one.
So do you have a kind of a ritual process of your working day, or does it change according to what is on your working day schedule?
It changes every day.
Yeah.
It changes every day because so with mastering, it's quite a quick process, and so every day, like, it's really rare that I'll work on an album for longer than a day. Like sometimes I'll go back to it and do revisions, but like the core mastering is normally all done in one day.
How long does it take you to do the 20 tracks?
I mean, if they'd have all been sent in one go,
Yeah.
I would have probably booked out 2 days to do them.
Yeah.
Like, it probably wouldn't have taken me a full 2 days, but because they came in like batches. I actually don't know.
Yeah.
But
every day is different.
Every day is different. And, some things take much longer than others. But I also think, like, I don't know if this is a bit weird, but sometimes you have got a booking and you're just not in the mood for it.
Mm.
And I have to make myself be in the mood to work on that project. And, sometimes I just start the day and for the first 2 hours, I'm just like, just going and searching for kind of music and on a little bit of a journey to like psych myself up to work on a project. And other times I just dive straight in and I'm like, yeah, cool. Like, I'm, feeling this. But I think I'd feel like a shit mastering engineer if I worked on a project and I wasn't like super like in the state of mind that is required for a project, because I don't think I do my best work if I'm not like super in the zone.
Mm. I definitely think you can hear in your work that you don't work to a template. So many people do work to a template. My
attention span is far too short for that. I'd get bored and start hating my job.
Yeah.
I need to love something about every project I work on. And even if it's not a genre of music that I'd normally listen to, I still need to like find things that I absolutely love about it. And kind of that's where I sort of start a master. But yeah, it's hard getting yourself in the zone to do that. So yeah, like some projects I've mastered in the last like 2 hours of the day, and the rest of the day has just been spent like psyching myself up for it and just like listening to like any references that have been sent or, music that's kind of a vibe.
Yeah.
Of a similar thing. And then other times, I just crack on and like it happens.
Yeah.
I think with the enemy stuff, it just all happened.
I loved when I love when I got in touch with you about that to start with, and you just said, oh my God, I loved them back in the day. I loved that record anyway. So that was that for me as well, because I'm the same. I if I don't really love it, I can do it and I will do my best and I'll work hard on it. But when there's something I'm deeply passionate about, it brings out the best in me, that best in me that I can't pull out in any other way. you know, I have to be like almost like bordering on super fan, you know, and I get kind of quite obsessed with it, and it becomes far more than work, doesn't it? Really,
Yeah.
And I think that's really, really important. And again, like when you just said to me, it's like, oh my god, I love The Enemy.
I think like I love doing bands' first albums. There's something so special about first, like you can't beat it. But when you get to work with a band that you're a fan of when you were like kind of early 20s or something, that's so cool.
It is, isn't it?
It's really cool.
Yeah. I mean, I've just had that with the Making the Vent record, which is coming to you for mastering. When it's mixed, I mean, Miles Hunt has been a hero of mine since I was like 15.
I love that.
Yeah, I mean, we've had a friendship for 20 years now. But even when we were making that record, I was, you know, we'd be doing vocals, and I'd be doing the do and going, you know, doing the vocals with him. But then I'd have these little snapshot things in my head going, oh, 15-year-old you, what would you be saying? You'd be like shitting yourself. And hearing his voice coming through the speakers when we were tracking the vocals, I did have these little kind of like, oh,
Do you think 15-year-old you would think that you now are dead cool?
I don't think I thought anybody was dead cool when I was 15. I don't know. I'd probably want to know me because I'd worked with some of the bands that I liked, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think 15-year-old me ever imagined working with some of my heroes. And again, like a couple of years ago, I worked with Dave Navarro and Perry Farrell remotely. And Jane's
That's
Addiction.
so cool.
Jane's Addiction are one of my favourite bands of all time. And I remember having the Zoom call, right? And the first Zoom call we had with the band and then Perry Farrell was just mind-blowing. And it came on, and everybody's like pops up on the Zoom call, and then Perry's there in the left-hand corner of the screen. And I just remember clocking myself thinking, you are smiling like a maniac, right? So I had to spend the whole...
Look cool.
Yeah, so I had to spend the rest of the whole, like, thing just doing that, holding my face, going, oh my God. And I wasn't really paying attention to the first Zoom call. I was just staring at Perry Farrell thinking, that's Perry Farrell. I'm talking to Perry Farrell.
Yeah, that's wild.
It's amazing. It's the best thing in the world, isn't it? When you work with something that's like, is based on hero kind of days. And that's when you sort of go, oh, I've got the best job in the world. Even though I hate Zoom calls, though.
They suck.
They really suck.
I think that other than like all the accounting things, I think Zoom calls might be the worst bit of the job.
I hate them. And you don't do attended mastering, do you?
No.
Very sensible.
Generally, no. I'd do attended if someone because my studio's in my flat.
Yeah.
And my cat is in my flat and she doesn't like being disturbed. But no, I think, you know, if someone who I work with a lot wants to come over and we'll do the sequencing or the revisions or something together, then like cool, but like, yeah.
And if you know them and you like them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, I don't think I could invite like someone who has found me in Google to my house. That feels like, that feels weird. I've put myself in a lot of very unsafe situations, like previously in the music industry, and I just have no time for that now.
No. I mean, it's funny, like when George Perks was here working and his mix room was here, and then Georgia now, you know, whenever there's an attended mix or they come in to do a bit of an attended mix, they'll say, oh, it'll only take like half an hour. And literally they'll be there for 9 hours going, can you just, it's ridiculous.
I do think as well, so I monitor really quietly, like underwhelmingly quietly, just because, you know, I'm working like 9 to 5, sometimes more every day. My ears get really tired.
Yeah.
You know, I lose perspective. I start not knowing whether the decisions I make are good or not. Obviously, I take breaks and stuff, but generally I'm working for really long hours. And I do feel like if someone came to do an attended session for the actual mastering part, they would not know, you know, like, I think it's better that someone listens on something that they're used to.
Exactly.
Rather than my speakers, because like they're set up to how I want to hear sounds, but they're not necessarily like, you know, set up to how someone else would. So
No, I agree entirely. And that brings me on to the next thing I was going to ask you about. So, like, how do you schedule your work? How do you look after A, your ears, and B, kind of mental health? Because it's a very strange thing, the world that we live in, isn't it? You know, the world that we work in. I mean, obviously, I'm surrounded by people in the studio. You're obviously on your own all the time, and it's kind of and again, that whole thing of our work is always judged, and there are all these contributory factors that make it difficult to maintain a bit of sanity. So do you have a kind of a, right, I have my breaks here, I have time, I always take a week off after a certain amount of working to give my brain a rest and my ears a rest? Do you have anything like that in place, that you have your own little rule book just to look after yourself?
I mean, I gym like religiously.
Yeah.
To the point where I don't know if it's healthy anymore. But yeah, so I go to the gym and I go to therapy. Like, gym is my kind of, like, that's my quiet time, no distractions, no phone, like just some really good tunes and lifting really heavy weights. And I think that's helped my mental health more than like lots of things that people say will help your mental health.
Yeah.
But it's also like, I used to have a really bad back from like hunching over every day. Sorted now, I started lifting really heavy.
Really?
Yeah. So that's been really good. And then obviously therapy, I think it's really important to have like some kind of therapy at some point, because I think the music industry is really small and it's also really weird, and like there's lots of people online making judgments that and they don't know the whole picture and stuff. And that's another thing, is like just not going on the internet. So my phone is on do not disturb the whole day while I'm working. Poor Joe trying to phone me and it wouldn't even ring because it's on do not disturb. Phone him back, I'm so sorry. I think phone on do not disturb is good. Like, no social media or anything while I'm working. Like, I think the outside noise is really not good for like mental health. Like, it's really easy to compare yourself to others, and like, I don't know anyone doing this as a job whose career paths have been exactly the same. So why would you compare yourself? But when you're seeing like the highlights of others, it's really easy to compare yourself, and it's just, it's bad.
That's
it's
it.
Really
you
bad.
nailed it. The highlights of other people, and they put the highlights of themselves up, and you sort of, your brain goes, that's what their day is like every single day.
I don't put my like every 2-month meltdown about whether this is the right career for me and stuff on Instagram. I don't tell people that.
No, nor me.
But you know, it happens.
Oh God, it does. And we all do it. And you have those, you have those moments where you go, oh God, should I be doing this?
Yeah.
You know, and because you see other people and they present themselves in such a way that you go, oh, every single day they're working with the coolest bands and they're just getting number ones and they're always in the top 10. And it's like
if I
no
looked
one
at my
has that.
Instagram, I'd be like, fucking smug bitch.
Yeah.
But like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not
killing it every day.
Yeah, it's not real life, is it?
No, it's
so
not.
I think like,
It's all the
gym
good
or
bits.
some kind of exercise, get those endorphins, therapy, and just putting the internet down. I think
It's interesting you still listen to tunes though.
Yeah, well, I think I listen to tunes in the studio to like psych myself up for a project. But when I'm gymming, I listen to stuff that's like stuff that I want to listen to. Like, maybe a record's been released and I've been really looking forward to it, or maybe it's something like super nostalgic. Yeah.
I do love a super nostalgic listening times. But for me, like when I'm trying to have a bit of a break, I'd literally do no music. And then I'll go all kind of like, I go for bicycle rides with no music. And then I'll go to National Trust properties with no music.
That's so wholesome.
And
I don't listen to music if I'm, like today on my way here, I did not listen to any music. Like, I love listening to people chatter. There were two older ladies in front of me on the train, and I was just having a right nosy about, you know, hearing all about their grandkids and stuff, and it was so cute. But I do find like after work, all I want to listen to is podcasts and listen to other people talking. Or sometimes I'll phone a friend. Me and my friend Thea have, obviously not today because I'm here, but we normally do Brew Monday. So we do like a little FaceTime and have a brew and a natter. And just, just in the middle of the day to kind of, as a little reset, and then you get on with the rest of your day.
So how often do you break if on a working day, if you've got like a full, okay, I've got a whole day's worth of mastering I've got to get through today. When do you break? How often do you have a break?
So I normally coincide my breaks with when Jelly shouts at me for food.
Oh.
So it's kind of, she tries to make it earlier and earlier every day, but it's normally around 12 and 4, I'll have a break, and then the rest of the time. So normally after 4, I'll work until 6:30, 7, and then I'll finish for the day.
That's sensible. I was talking to George Perks recently because he's like one of my best mates in the world anyway, as well as my favoured mixer.
He's brilliant.
He is brilliant. And obviously he's now kind of mixing from home. He's got a studio at home, and we were chatting and I was like, oh, so how's your scheduling changed? And he says, I have an ear break every hour and 20. He'll step away, go and have 15 minutes, 20 minutes away, and then come back. And he says that's really helped him, really, really helped him. I mean, I find that when you're in the studio with a band, as much as you try to manipulate the situation, they'll manipulate you. So, you'll sort of think, I'm going to have a break at 2. And then you're just about to sort of round up something, and then the guitarist will come and go, yeah, I've had this great idea. I want to put this, let's put this down. And you sort of go with that because you can't cramp their inspiration. And then all of a sudden you go, 6, and I actually haven't had a break yet. I try to avoid that, but it does happen. It does happen. And I think when you're on your own, if you're in a mixing situation or mastering, you've got much more control over that. But bands, they fuck you up every time, don't they?
Yeah. Bless them.
Yeah.
Love them.
Yeah, love them, hate them, can't kill them.
Yeah, I think I just try and be really sensible with it, and I quite like just getting up and having a walk around.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't I don't really schedule other than obviously around Jelly's feeding times. I don't really schedule stuff, but sometimes I will take 3 drinks into the studio and just not emerge until Jelly wants some food or a play or something. And then the other times I'll need lots of breaks. It also depends on what I'm working on as well.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm so immersed in, I mastered an album last week, and it felt like for the whole it's amazing, and I can't talk about it. But it's for an artist I've worked with before, and she's incredible, but this album is particularly special. And I felt like I couldn't breathe for the whole album. It was just just breath taken away. And I didn't really do anything other than work that day. I just did it. I was just so it's the album is very emotional, and it's something that's quite close to me as well. So it was just I really felt it, and I felt her music and her emotions and stuff, and just so in the zone.
So it stopped being work at that point.
Yeah, I just, it was, I was on autopilot. I was just in the zone, just doing what it needed. It was almost like an out of body experience. It's so, I can't describe it.
No, I get it.
It's like an out of body experience. I didn't eat. I didn't really drink anything. Normally I would go make myself so many cups of teas and stuff. But no, I just took 3 drinks into the studio in the morning and just didn't leave.
That's really cool.
But not all sessions are like that.
No.
And I don't think I could do this as a job if they were. Because although that was amazing, it's it's physically taxing as well as mentally and emotionally taxing.
So what could you not live without in the studio environment?
Jelly.
Obviously.
A window.
Yes, I agree.
My window is massive, and I've had studios in so many in complexes in windowless rooms and stuff, and they've all sounded really good, but I don't know. You need the
it helps. Yeah, it really helps.
Yeah.
I did Vada for a large portion of its life. This is the fifth studio, fifth Vada, And the first 3 of them didn't have any windows. And I kind of got used to that existence. And then when I first started having daylight in the studio, it's just like my whole work, everything just went whoosh, up straight away. Surely you couldn't do without a cup of tea, oat milk, 1 sugar.
Yeah, that's it. He knows.
That's an essential part of your day.
Exactly right, yeah.
But yeah.
Not always though. I tend to, like, I normally have 1 brew, oat milk, 1 sugar.
1 sugar, yeah.
In the morning, and then I'll switch to like chamomile or peppermint or something.
Ooh.
Just because, like, I do gym, I do walk everywhere, I do try and stay as healthy as possible, but I'm like, I don't want to... There's this kind of reputation that engineers and producers have for being really unhealthy.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to be healthy.
Well, it's a pretty unhealthy job. We
It's
sat
an unhealthy
down
job.
all the time, and
Yeah.
then we graze.
Long hours.
And you just pick on things, and then you don't always eat as you should.
Yeah.
I think the new generation are probably getting a bit healthier because people are more health conscious, aren't they?
Mm.
So you wouldn't have 2 cups of tea, oat milk, 1 sugar.
Rarely.
Rarely, okay.
If it's a difficult day, rarely. But yeah, now I was like, oh God, my sugar consumption's probably like way too high. I need to start like...
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love chocolate. Far too much. Far too much. Yeah, and I told you, didn't I? I got potassium poisoning from eating too many bananas. Trying to offset the health, because my thing was Haribo.
Bet you never had any poisoning from chocolate, did you?
Never had any poisoning from Haribo. Never had any poisoning from chocolate. Switched it to loads of bananas a day. Got potassium poisoning.
Awful.
Yeah, stay away from that. That fruit shit. It's a killer.
Well, there are 33 bananas in my house at the moment.
Yeah, I'm kind of disappointed you didn't bring any.
I'm so sad. I should have bought a bunch.
Yeah, I'm a bit
I'll bring
remorseful.
some bananas next time.
Yeah, definitely bring some bananas, because you probably will accidentally order.
Probably. It'll happen again.
Yeah. Is that the second time you've done it?
Yes.
Not the third time.
Not the third time.
Second time.
Yeah.
36 bananas.
Yeah.
You could make a banoffee pie, but that's a lot of sugar.
That is a lot of sugar.
Banana
bread,
sugar.
but again, loads of sugar.
So, talk to me about the 2% Rising thing that you're involved with.
So, 2% Rising came out of me and my friend Jenny, who bought me the Joy Division jumper, which I love with cats on. She's a producer. She produces under the name Rux. It just came out of us kind of feeling like... So, like, our jobs are quite solitary. Solitary. That. And I think there's loads of internet forums where you can ask questions, but unless you have the name of a white man, you get like 1-word answers and told you really thick. And why should you be asking that question? Because it's so obvious. And it's just not a nice environment to kind of, you know, just ask stuff.
Yeah.
And so I think we started, so it's just a Facebook group, and we started, I think, like the week before the pandemic. And so we just opened it to women, gender expansive people. Obviously, I include trans women when I say women. And it just became a really nice, wholesome place where lots of people who felt like they didn't really belong anywhere came and started like collaborating together and learning from each other. And it's kind of existed ever since. And in the pandemic, it was really cool because we didn't have anywhere to go. So we started doing like online socials and like skill shares and like, you know, just online events where people could come, and loads of people got to know each other and collaborated and
That's really cool.
Shared their knowledge and stuff. And it's really nice. And we don't really do much of that anymore, but we do other things instead. Like we do some listening parties so you can bring your track and get some feedback from the group and, you know, stuff like that. But it's nice to have a place that's kind of like, there's no snobs in there. There's just not. Like we've not intentionally made it like, don't be a snob.
Yeah.
It just happened that way. So it's kind of, it's a really nice place to, you know, if you've got a question and you're not sure who to ask. Because I have that all the time. You know, I have questions about like, because I am self-taught with mastering, like, oh, what do you do in this situation? But I don't know who will know.
Yeah.
So then you just put it to the group and, you know, people answer if they can, and you don't have to take the advice, but you can if you want. So it's kind of, it's nice. It's
Do you
chill.
feel like as a woman in the music industry in the last 5 years, things have got a little bit better?
I think this past year, I think things have gotten worse.
Oh, right.
But I think since like 2019, things have gotten a lot better.
Yeah.
Like 2018, 2019. But then I also think like I can't really be like, my experience is going to be really different to like someone else's experience.
Yeah.
Like mastering's, you know, it's quite chill, it's quite niche. Like mastering engineers all tend to know each other. We're all mates, we hang out, we talk. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's quite nice. Whereas I feel like if maybe you're an engineer or a producer, you're going to have like a totally different experience. But also like if you're a Black woman, your experience is going to be completely different. Or if you're a trans woman, it's going to be different. Or if you're non-binary. So, yeah, I don't know. It's... Do
you feel there's...
I feel like it's gone back a little bit this year. Like definitely. Like I went to an event over summer and... like, I don't know. I used to always have to justify like why I'm in a room until like maybe 2019, and it felt like people accepted me.
Yeah.
And then this summer I was like having to justify why I was in a room again, and it's like, I don't know. I find like gender in the music industry a really boring thing.
Yeah.
Like it's really boring. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I find it just really frustrating that someone would like treat me differently than a white dude.
Yeah.
Like a cis white man. And especially like, it's tricky because I was going around this event with like 2 of my friends who are cis white men, and they have like less experience than me in the music industry, and yet they were treated like just totally normal. Whereas for me, it was like, what do you do?
Yeah, right.
Mastering.
Yeah.
Like not believing me.
Yeah.
Which is frustrating. But then the flip side of that is like, I meet a lot of students, and that's we can add students to the list of people who inspire me. Like I think people who are learning about production always have really cool ideas, and I like that. But when I see people who are students and they're doing their dissertation, all of the students who are like men will be doing their dissertation on something that's gonna like they're gonna learn and will further their career. I see a lot of students who are not cis men doing their dissertation on gender. And I'm like, oh, come on. Like, it sucks. It really sucks. But like,
it shouldn't be a
use
thing.
that time that you're going to spend on your dissertation to teach you something really niche that you can then go into the music industry and kill it with. Whereas like, we know there's a gender problem. Like, we just need more. Like, but I think the thing is like, I don't want to like force anyone into like being an engineer or a producer, and they don't want to be, but I also don't want that barrier there to people who do want to be.
Yeah, right.
Like, yeah, I think that's what it comes down to.
So, yeah, you don't want to be militant, but at the same time...
Yeah, I'm not like, we must have more women who are producers. Like, that's silly. Like, if they don't want to be producers, they don't want to be. But like, I want them to know that it's an option.
Yeah.
And for them not to have barriers.
And not to be kind of put off by the fact that they might be rejected or looked down upon because of their gender, etc. Yeah.
It's so hard because like a lot of people, again, for dissertations will like email me and say, can we interview you for our dissertation, our study? It's about gender. And I'm just like, that's the least interesting part of my career. It's like, it's so boring. It's can we talk about cats?
Yeah.
Or bananas.
Or bananas.
Let's talk about something cool.
But I suppose, you are respected regardless of gender now. I think your name is a name in mastering, and it's not, and she's a girl, So I think in a way you're going to attract that, because I think you have done it on your own terms. And I mean, my whole opinion, if you're good, you're good. I didn't care if Katie Tavini was a girl or a boy. I didn't care if you were black, white, or whatever. I did care when I heard your masters come back to me, and I was jumping up and down with joy, going like, finally, like nearly 30 years, and I'm happy. This is the first time I've ever been 100% happy with a master, And
that's the first time I've done 20 songs and not had any revisions.
The only revisions was because some of the mixes needed to be redone, because of tiny little things that I hadn't picked out in time. But yeah, 20 songs is quite a lot of songs to get way through. But no, because it's just, you got it. And then the more now I'm kind of getting to know you and your whole attitude towards the job and music, it's the master that I got back from you is now making complete sense. You know what I mean? It's like, that's why,
I do think my work's a bit like Marmite, though. Some people, it's not what they want at all. So I think there's Brendan Harding, my manager, says that mastering's like different flavours of ice cream.
Right.
Like, you might not want strawberry that day or whatever, you might want chocolate instead.
Yeah.
And I think that's quite true. Like, yeah.
I think it's, I mean, for me, as I said, I knew what the whole core, as a producer, I knew what the core vision was. George is very instinctive on my work. He knows, we've worked together for like 8 years. So he always gets it bang on. And then that next process to go to you and to get that extra 30%. And like I said, the mid-range that came out. I mean, George's mixes are incredible. And to get that feeling of getting even more excited, I jump up and down when he sends me mixes. It's always like, it's so good. Occasionally I'll be like, oh, that guitar in the pre-chorus, actually that's supposed to be a bit lower. And be like, oh, okay, cool. But it's never wrong. Do you know what I mean? It's never like bad. It's just like, oh no, I thought that. And it's like, oh yeah, cool. And then the mastering is always like, oh, okay, it's not ruined it. It's all right. That's fine. You know what I mean? That's normally
it's not ruined.
Yeah, that's normally how it is. Whereas with your mastering on that record, I'd never experienced that whole like, oh my God, this is 30% more. It's more exciting, sonically. But yeah, and I didn't care if you were a girl or a boy. That's it for me. But I think it's to do with upbringing, isn't it? I was very lucky to be brought up with no prejudice at all. If you're cool, if you're nice, if you're good at what you do, it doesn't matter what race or gender you are. And that was just what I was used to. And I'm very grateful for that.
I think like representation does matter.
Yeah, it does.
I think, when I was starting out, it was really cool that I could see Mandy Parnell like existing. Like just the fact that she existed and was doing it was like, oh, okay, I can too.
Yeah.
And like, now the internet, like, social media wasn't as big a thing back then. So I couldn't really see like people in America doing it because there's way more people in America doing it. But I think, representation is important. But like, I think one of the things I've noticed is like sometimes I get written off projects because people assume I won't like a certain genre.
Yeah.
And that's frustrating because like I've heard music I like don't love, but I've never heard like music unless it's kind of, objectively bad that I couldn't be into.
Yeah.
I try and be into everything. But I think like as well, I think the music industry, because everyone's freelance, you just hire your mates.
Yeah.
As well. And like, if you go to the pub with all dudes, you're gonna hire a dude to do. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's quite tricky. yeah, I don't know.
Well, I'm sold now. As I said before, it's like George Perks mix.
My
Katie-
head's going to be
Katie
so big,
Tavini,
I'm not going
master,
to
that's
fit out
it.
the room.
So yeah, that's my dream team. Well, it's been absolutely amazing chatting to you.
Thanks
Thank
for
you so
having
much.
me.
Thanks so much for coming down to Vada.
You're welcome.
And,
Thank you for having me.
And I'm glad that lunch was up to scratch.
Oh, it's so surprising.
Egg surprise.
Yeah.
I can't wait for you to master my next record.
Lovely.
Brilliant.
I can't wait.
Thanks, Katie.
Thanks.